Hi guys, Martin here with another roundup of all the latest racing game news straight from the Team VVV website. This week's biggest news story by a mile was the announcement that Codemasters' next racing game won't be Dirt 4, but another grid game called Grid Autosport, which was unexpected to say the least, considering Grid 2 was released less than a year ago now. Grid Autosport aims to rectify the many complaints directed at Grid 2. It brings motorsport back to the forefront with a fully fledged career that has you managing your team and acquiring sponsors, along with 5 distinct racing disciplines: endurance, open wheel, street racing, touring and tuner. Gone too is the eccentric, drift-happy handling in Grid 2 that made precision racing nigh on impossible, replaced with what Codemasters are calling a more authentic handling style that sits in between arcade and simulation, but leans closer to simulation than before. Real-world circuits are also back, compared to Grid 2's overabundance of fictional street courses, with 22 locations and over 100 routes. The biggest revelation though is the return of the much-missed cockpit camera backed by popular demand, which ironically will be available in 2 flavours in Grid Autosport, after Codemasters removed it from Grid 2 because it was apparently a waste of resources, as only 5% of players only used it according to them. It's set for release in June on PC, PS3 and Xbox 360. No, your ears don't deceive you, it really isn't getting a next-gen release for PS4 and Xbox One, I hate to tell you. Or at least not yet anyway, because the next version of their Ego engine isn't ready just yet. So we'll probably have to wait until F1 2014 for a true next-gen Codemasters experience later on in the year. All in all then, Grid Autosport sounds like the game Grid 2 should have been. Perhaps they should have called it Grid Apology. You can find full details on Grid Autosport in the link below. One game that most certainly is being made with next gen in mind is the preposterously pretty Project Cars, and it brings us great pleasure to present the first trailer that isn't fan-made, but an official extended video from Slightly Mad Studios as the final release draws closer. The exact release is still unknown, but the trailer does at least confirm we'll be starting our engines this November, on every current platform imaginable, including the often ignored Wii U. It's hard to imagine people rushing out to buy a Wii U just to play Project Cars though, when it will be available on more capable platforms. On the other end of the spectrum though is the 8th game in a little known series starring a podgy plumber, with a penchant for kart racing. Yes, Mario Kart 8 races off the line next month, and Nintendo are banking on it being a system seller. Predictably then, along came the announcement of a Wii U console bundle with a copy of the game. Special bundles will also be available with themed controllers and even a funky Mario hat. Pricing details can be found on the site in the link below. The next update for Assetto Corsa was originally supposed to be released this week, but technical issues have now pushed it back to next week. It should be worth the wait though, as this update will be adding the long-awaited multiplayer mode, which has been in development for the past 2 months. So we all look forward to that. Meanwhile, iRacing has received a new update with a truckload of new content, including new cars, customization options, and also a new track. Added to the subscription-based sim is the BMW Z4 GT3 and the Toyota Camry NASCAR, plus the Circuit of the Americas and options to customise the wheel paint in either matte or chrome finishes. Lots of car and track announcements for you now. First up, we have the 2015 5th generation Ford Mustang confirmed for the Crew, which first made its game debut in Need for Speed Rivals last year, although technically the Crew will be the first next-gen exclusive game to feature the fast Ford. We also got a work-in-progress render of the McLaren P1 in Assetto Corsa, which is probably one of the most anticipated cars for the game, but whether it will be released at launch or as DLC remains to be seen. R-Factor 2 also got some unexpected off-road content over Easter, with the release of this quad bike and the Lost Valley dirt track available to download now. It's very much an experimental release for now, but loose dirt and soft terrain modelling is said to be coming in a future update. BMW has been confirmed to be appearing in Slightly Mad's sister project World of Speed. So far though, only the BMW 135i has been confirmed, but we fully expect to see some of the BMWs already featured in Project Cars to be carried over. Elsewhere, several screenshots have been released for the Nissan GT3 race car in Race Room Experience, which looks to be on its way soon, along with the announcement of the Paul Ricard circuit, which is famous for being the pre-season testing venue for racing series such as the World Endurance Championship. No release date yet, but like the Nissan, it looks pretty complete to us in the screenshots provided, so hopefully it'll be available soon. Also, a new single-seater and additional circuits, including the Red Bull Ring, are also coming soon to GameStop Car Extreme, which will be free to download to existing owners. The HD remake of the classic cartoon car combat racing Cell Damage has been released on the American PSN this week. You may remember the original game back in 2001 on the original Xbox and PS2, but the HD remake is digital only on PS4, PS3 and PS Vita. Best of all though, it's a cross-buy title, which means you'll get all 3 versions for the price of one. No confirmation yet on when it will be released in Europe, but it's definitely in the pipeline according to the developer, but we'll keep you posted. Much to my annoyance, it's impossible to avoid this year's World Cup. I'm not what you call a football fan by any stretch of the imagination, and will be doing everything in my power not to watch it this summer. Throw in Ken Block, a souped up Ford Fiesta, and some impeccable car control into the mix, and you've then got my attention. This latest display of man vs machine comes courtesy of Castrol, in a video spin-off to Ken Block's famous Gymkhana series, appropriately called Footkhana. You all know what to expect, lots of slick shots of slow motion power sliding, wheel spinning, and narrowly missing people whilst power sliding. The version in my head is probably a bit more violent though, since I love football so much. Have you ever fancied stomping around Chicago in a giant spider tank? Well, Watch Dogs will let you do just that in a special minigame. The aim is simple: earn points by causing as much chaos possible, using machine guns, missiles, and even the spider's legs to destroy everything in sight. Who said Watch Dogs were just another GTA clone? That's it for now, but I'll be back next time with another roundup. As always, visit teamvvv.com for all the latest racing game news, and you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter.